Hello there, I'm Daniel Lader, founder of Lader CPA and Associates. Welcome to our Instagram live series where we are talking about building a successful private practice from beginning to infinity. They say surround yourself with people who support you. So I hired a therapist and an accountant. Now I cry less and deduct more. All right, so this week we are going to be talking about writing off your networking expenses and business meals. Now, I get asked frequently about, especially business meals, and how to deduct those, and what is deducted, and why is it 50%, etc. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, if you do have any questions, talk with your tax advisor. They can give you directions on what to do because there are some intricacies to these laws that need to be paid attention to once you go outside of the normal that we're going to talk about. So let's talk about them. First off, what counts as a business meal? A business meal is any meals, of course, with current or potential clients, referral sources, colleagues where business is discussed. Also, meals during business travel or while attending professional events can be included, conferences, trainings, etc. Also, meals with your staff for a business-related discussion, such as strategy lunches or supervision over lunch, etc. Not lunch with your wife or lunch on your quick lunch break where it's just you at a McDonald's, etc. But it has to have a business purpose. That is the core, the key of a business meal deduction, a business purpose. Now, that business purpose, it must be clear, it must be able to be defined. One thing you're going to find is going to make life easier is if you document that business meal. Who was there? What was discussed? Where did you go? How did you like their house dressing on your salad? Maybe not that last one, but might be good for future reference. But keep a documentation so that you can refer to it later. If your bookkeeper or tax preparer later sees a $400 expense to the local sushi place, they're going to want to know what that is. And you are going to feel confident if you can provide the documentation showing what that is. Now, importantly, your practice or you must pay for the meal. This isn't the free meal. This isn't a meal covered by someone else that they're bringing you to. This is a meal you are paying for. Now, I think this is the most important key, but you must be present at that meal. I haven't missed very many meals in my lifetime, and I sure won't miss a business meal, especially if it's at least 50% deductible. But that's a strange one, but you need to be there for the meal to have it be a deductible expense. Now, the question is, how much can you deduct for a business meals? This is where we get into a little bit of the tricky stuff. So first off, the traditional 50% rule. You can deduct 50% of the total cost of the meal, of the qualified business meal that you paid for. You spend $500 somewhere. That sounds fancy. You can write off $250 of it. You spend $50 on a quick meal with a colleague or a client. That's great. Write off $25 of that. Now, there's some meals that can be 100% deductible. Talk with your CPA or your tax advisor to get more details about these. But these are generally meals that are provided during certain events or for the convenience of the employer if you're feeding your staff. There's some specifics that have to be followed correctly to make those qualify as 100% deductible. Also, meals that are paid for by conference. The meal is included in the conference. Those meals do not get deducted separately. It's part of the conference. It's good news and bad news. Good news because it's fully deductible as part of the conference. Bad news is, well, you don't get to choose what you eat. You get the conference food. I don't know if you see that as bad news or good news, but everyone has their own preferences. So that's the quick and easy on business meals. Let's talk about networking events. Now, As a business owner, you know there are networking events out there to get you in touch with people who are doing the same thing as you, people who are offering services you can benefit from. Maybe you are holding the networking event in an effort to collaborate and present yourself before more clients. Whatever the reason is, the cost of the tickets or registration fees for these networking events related to your field are deductible. Now, networking is a pretty broad topic. To be related to your field, that's pretty dang easy. A networking event, you're there to meet people, coordinate, and possibly look at services or future clients. They are there to do something similar. That's easy to justify that it's part of your field or related to your field. Now, if you're purchasing food or drinks at these events, we go back to the business meals to look at how if those are deductible and at what portion. Now, you may want to have just coffee or lunch with a colleague or a potential client just to discuss things, referrals, collaborations, growth, etc. That all counts as well as far as networking events. So again, refer to the business meals part. If you are at an event itself, the cost of the event is deductible there. Now, a couple tips on making sure you are staying compliant, keeping your tax preparer and your bookkeeper happy at the same time. First, use a separate card when you are paying for business expenses. We've talked about this in weeks past. Have a separate bank account, have a separate credit card or debit card, whatever it is. Keep those expenses separate from your personal expenses. That will make record keeping so much easier for your bookkeeper and your tax preparer. Again, note the purpose or document the purpose of each meal, each event, while it's happening. It's a lot easier to write it down immediately after than to remember 6 months, 12 months later and try and tell your bookkeeper or your tax preparer that this expense with no documentation is deductible or not. Much easier to do that right away. And probably most importantly, and what I get the most questions on, is basically how far does the business meal deduction go? How much can I stretch the rules to still make it qualify? My advice, don't play that game. Follow those rules. Business, it's a meal with you and a colleague, client, staff, referral source, whatever, with a very definite business purpose. And you are at the meal. Well, let's say, and you're paying for the meal, and then you are at the meal. But don't play that game where you're trying to justify everything you do. Oh, my friend and I, neighbor down the street, we went out to dinner. We went out to lunch. Oh yeah, we talked about how our businesses are going. And then we talked about our kids, our vacations, etc., etc. It was definitely more of a social visit than a business event. So don't play that game where you're trying to justify everything. It's just going to play badly for you in the long run. Now, if you have any questions on this topic, feel free to comment on the video. Feel free to DM me directly, and I'll answer any questions you have as quickly as I'm able to. If you would like to schedule a free 30-minute discovery call with me or someone at my firm to talk about your business and your tax strategies, go ahead and DM me. We'll send you a calendar link for one of our free discovery calls, and we can chat about your business and your tax strategies and what we can do to improve those with you. Go ahead and follow and subscribe for future events like this or tax tips that we're posting up regularly, and visit our website, latercpa.com. I will see you all on the next video, and have a great weekend and keep helping others to help themselves. Bye-bye.